Hello friends, SentinalhMC here, and welcome back to our Immersive Engineering tutorial series. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the first of the handheld tools in the game, the mining drill. Now, the mining drill is pretty darn cool. I'm not going to be using it in my Let's Play series because Silk Touch is better. But you can use the mining drill to very quickly drill large-sized tunnels and mine up ore. It's a multi-item thing. You have to use an engineer's workbench in order to put parts on it. It's a very cool system, and I like the way that Immersive Engineering handles it. So let's get into it and learn how to craft it. And we're going to take a look at everything that you need to know to use it. So to craft the mining drill itself, the actual base unit, you're going to need a heavy engineering block, a steel mechanical component, and 2 wooden grips. Now, we haven't gone over wooden grips before, but they're immensely simple to build. A wooden grip is simply a copper ingot and 5 treated sticks. Very, very cheap, very easy to make. So once you have the mining drill, you'll see that it says empty and no drill head equipped. That's where the iron and steel drill heads come in. You can craft an iron drill head with 2 blocks of iron and then 5 iron ingots, so quite a bit of iron. However, if you go ahead and replace it all with steel, you can make a steel version. Now, what's the difference? The iron drill head mines in a 2x2x1 area. Its mining level is redstone. It has a mining speed of 9. It deals 6 attack damage and has a durability of 4,000. As you mine with the mining drill, the drill heads will take damage. Okay? Now, if I replace all of this with steel, you can see that the steel drill head mines in a 3x3x1 area, has a mining level of obsidian, a mining speed of 10, attack damage of 7, and twice the durability at 8,000. Because it's not that difficult to make steel, and by the time you're going to be building a mining drill, you pretty much got a good steel supply. I would suggest just skipping the iron drill head and going straight for steel. That's just my opinion. Because why use all this iron to build the iron drill head when you can just chuck it in a blast furnace, turn it into steel, and get the steel one? But, you know, that's me. You might want an iron one. Now, in order to use the mining drill, you also have to craft the engineer's workbench. It's what you use to actually put the drill head on it and also attach upgrades. And there's quite a few upgrades for this thing. So the engineer's workbench is also useful for other things. Basically, anything in immersive engineering that allows you to have upgrades, you put it on using the workbench. So you're going to want to have one of these. It's crafted with 3 treated wood slabs, a crafting table, and a treated wood fence. So very, very cheap. Looks cool, actually. I would expect it to take an iron ingot because it's got a vise on it, but it actually does not. Now, if we come over here, I got a whole bunch of stuff set up. We're going to take a look at it throughout the video. The first things first, here's my engineer's workbench. It's all set up. When you go to place the engineer's workbench down, it will always place with the little drawer part right on the block that you place it on, and then the table will extend off to the right. If I turn, it'll well, it's dependent on direction, really. You're always placing the part with the actual vise and the part with the drawer. Okay? You'll have to kind of move around to figure out how to place it exactly how you want it. Now, over here we've got all the upgrades for the mining drill. But first things first, let me show you how to put the drill head in. It's really simple. Simply right-click on the engineer's workbench and you'll get this GUI. The item that you're wanting to modify goes in the little slot here. So if I put my mining drill in here, you can see that 4 slots have appeared, as well as an additional slot. We'll talk about this one later. Now, in order to attach my drill heads, I put them up in this slot. So if I put my steel drill head up here, you can see that now you can see the drill head on the mining drill. And if you have an item in this slot, it actually shows up on the table. It's really, really cool. I really like that. So now if we take it out and hold it in our hand, we can see the actual drill head on it. Now, this takes fuel, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But if I want to put it back in here, I can take the drill head off, and I could put the iron one on. You can see that the iron one's a different color. So you can always tell by looking at your drill what you have installed on it, which is really cool. I really like that. Alright? Now, let's go through these upgrades. There are 4 upgrades that you can put on the mining drill. The first 3, the pressurized tank, the advanced lube system, the additional augers, are strictly for the mining drill. These are upgrades unique to the mining drill. The large tank can go on the mining drill, but it can also be used for the chemical thrower, which we'll talk about later. But these are all upgrades that you can put on your mining drill. So we'll go through these, how to craft them, and what they do. The pressurized air tank. Now, because the mining drill runs on a diesel combustion engine, which doesn't sound safe. You're basically holding a combustion engine in your hand. Now, I know things like weed whackers and stuff, you also are doing that, but it's pretty big, and I don't think any of those run on diesel. But anyway, because of that, it won't work underwater. If you take this underwater, it will not mine, unless you install the pressurized air tank. The pressurized air tank can be crafted with 2 buckets, an iron mechanical component, 4 lapis lazuli. Now, lapis lazuli, however you pronounce it. However, you can also substitute blue dye if you have mod packs that add some sort of blue dye. You can just try it. I know this recipe works with the basic blue dyes from some other mods. So if you've got a blue dye from a different mod, just try it and see if it works. So that's the pressurized air tank, and we'll demonstrate all this stuff once we finish talking about it. Now, the advanced lubrication system. At first, you might think that this reduces damage on your drill head, but it actually doesn't. The advanced lubrication system speeds up your mining speed. It increases your mining speed, allows you to mine faster. Very useful, in my opinion. In order to make the advanced lube system, you need 4 iron ingots, an iron mechanical component, and then 2 bottles or buckets of plant oil. Now you get plant oil by putting seeds in the squeezer. It's one of the industrial squeezer. It's one of the components of making biodiesel. So we've already gone over that, so you can use that to get yourself some plant oil. Remember, bottles or buckets will both work. Increases the digging speed. And now the additional augers is a bit interesting. It has nothing to do with your actual mining speed. The additional augers will increase the damage that your mining drill does to mobs. So if you want to use this as your primary weapon as well as a mining tool, you can chuck additional augers on it. These are crafted very simply. They're just little chunks of steel. 3 steel ingots and 1 steel mechanical component per auger. However, they stack up to 3 times. So you can put up to 3 of these on your mining drill. Each one will add a point of attack damage. Then we have the large tank. The large tank is very simple. It increases the amount of fuel that your mining drill can store. Very, very useful. In fact, I always use the large tank with my mining drill when I've used it in the past. So the large tank is crafted with 2 buckets, 2 steel ingots, an iron mechanical component, not a steel one, and 2 red dye. So this can be rose red from Minecraft, or this can be any red dye from a different mod. I mean, just try it. As long as it's ore-dicted to red dye, it'll probably work. Increases the internal tank size of the mining drill and the chemical thrower, which we haven't talked about yet. So, another quick thing to note, there's an anvil right here, because as your drill heads take damage, you can repair them on a standard Minecraft anvil. Okay? So that's very important. Alright, now let's talk about how to fuel this thing up, and then we'll start slapping mods on it and experimenting with it. So there's a couple different ways to put fuel into the mining drill. The simplest way is to simply place it in the output slot for biofuel of a refinery. I can't, for instance, or right-click it on a tank, this fluid tank full of biodiesel. Okay, so that's how you do that. Very cool. Other methods of getting fuel in this thing. One of the most useful things to use with the mining drill is the jerry can. If you're going to be going away and doing a lot of mining, you don't want to run out of gas in your drill. So you can carry additional fuel in a jerry can. The jerry can is crafted using 4 buckets and 4 iron ingots, so it's a big chunk of metal. And you can fill jerry cans, they don't stack, the same way that you filled the mining drill. You can just right-click it on a fluid tank that has biodiesel in it, or you can put it in the output slot of a refinery, and it stores 10,000 millibuckets of fuel. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and empty my mining drill by right-clicking it there. You can go ahead, and the way that you use the mining drill and the jerry can together is to simply craft them together. So I'm going to take the jerry cans recipe out of here because I don't have a crafting grid. If I craft these together, and you can just do this in your hands, it will fill it. So now we have 2,000 millibuckets in my mining drill and 8,000 in my jerry can. So this thing only holds 2,000 millibuckets by default, which means that if you don't have the large tank upgrade on it, you can use one jerry can to fill it 5 times. Alright, so I highly recommend carrying a jerry can with you if you're going to be going mining. Now I've got a bottler set up here just so that I can demonstrate that you can in fact use the bottler to fill these things. If I stick the mining... Actually, that's not working. Come on. There we go. If I stick the mining drill on a conveyor belt and feed it into the bottler, it didn't actually work. Okay, never mind. I haven't tried that one yet. Actually, it did work. Oh, no, wait. Oh, it's because it was full. Never mind. So let's do that again. We'll empty it this time, because I'm pretty sure this should work. There we go. It helps if it's actually empty and not full of fuel. There we go. So you can put your mining drill on a bottler. You can also put your jerry cans on the bottler. So I'm just using a hopper to get them on there just because. Why are they getting stuck? I don't know why they were getting stuck, but they were. Anyway, we can stick those in the bottler. The bottler will fill the jerry cans automatically. So if you want to set up a method to automatically refill your jerry cans after you've gone and used them, that's a way to do it. Each one holding 10,000. That one's only got 5,000 in it for some reason. Alright, so that's how you refuel this thing. Now, this thing, let's go ahead and put the standard iron drill head on it, just so that I can demonstrate what this does. We'll go over here and we will left click. Now, as you can see, it broke a... It drills very quickly. Actually, I'm in creative mode. I mean, it still worked. / game mode 0. It still worked. There we go. Now we see the actual speed that it mines at. Okay, that's the iron drill head. Now, when you go to drill materials, it will only drill the kind of material you're currently pointed at. Okay, so you can see that it only drills the copper when I actually tell it to drill the copper. And if you look at the bottom, you can see here that the durability status of the drill head is the green bar, and then your fuel gauge is off to the right, as you can see there. You can also see the durability of the drill head. Now, if I go ahead and replace the iron drill head with the steel drill head, I just love this mining drill. It gives me like flashbacks to BioShock 2, my favorite BioShock game, to using the drill. So yeah, I'm going to get hate for that being my favorite of the BioShock games, but I don't care. Now, if you look at the ground, you can very faintly see that the grid that the mining drill is going to drill is actually displayed on the blocks. See that? So it tells you exactly what blocks it's going to be drilling, which is very useful. Now you can see that the steel one drills not just a larger area, but also it drills faster. So drilling faster and a larger area makes the steel drill head just totally better in every respect. We got a little bit of damage on the drill head, so we're going to pull it off, and I'm going to show you how to repair it. So if we just put it in here, and then this is the steel one, so we probably need to put some steel in there. Oh yeah, we need to actually game mode 1 so that I can get back to creative inventory. And we will grab ourselves some steel ingots. Just going to grab a whole stack just because. Put the drill head in the anvil, add a steel ingot. Enchantment cost because it's a standard anvil. Pull it out, bang, fully repaired, ready to go back on. So that's how you do it. There we go. Now we're going to add some upgrades. So the first upgrade we're going to add is the advanced lubrication system. Now if I pull it off, you can actually see that little yellow cube thing there. So you can actually see it on the drill, which I think is really cool. So like I said, you can tell at a glance what mods you have on the drill. So this will increase the mining speed. So our you can see it's actually quite a bit increased. Hey, there's uranium there. So do not underestimate that upgrade. It makes it mine a lot faster. Very, very handy. And very cheap. Just a little bit of plant oil. Okay? So now, let's go ahead and add on the large tank. And we'll see how much it increases its fuel supply. So as you can see, it doubles the fuel capacity from 2,000 to 4,000 millibuckets. Very, very nice. So I can just refill this now to get a full tank. Actually, I emptied it. Now I'll fill it and get a full tank. 4,000 millibuckets. So quite useful. Now, you won't need this mod if you've got a bunch of if you've got like a couple jerry cans with you. So you don't. I mean, it's not completely necessary, the large tank, but you know, can be useful. Unless you want to add these other mods, because remember, there's only 3 slots for mods. You can't add one of each. So if you add the large tank, you can't have the Augers, lube system, and the pressurized tank. So you got to pick and choose 3. So that's the large tank. Very simple. If you take it off while it's full, you go back down to 2,000 millibuckets. And if I add it back on, it's wasted. That 2,000 fuel that was in there is wasted. So if you care about that, don't pull the large tank off unless the fuel supply is below 2,000. So you could just very easily empty it into a tank before you take that modification off. And the large tank is actually the only modification that does not appear on the mining drills model. So that's a bit unfortunate. Now let's talk about the pressurized air tank. So I will take the drill and we'll head over here to this water. And we'll attempt to drill. Now that worked because we're still above the water. But if we go under it, and I actually go into survival again, because I'm a fool. So just to show you, as long as the mining drill is above water, it'll drill. Once I am underwater, it doesn't. Alright? That's where the pressurized air tank comes in. Not only will the pressurized air tank allow the mining drill to mine underwater, it also eliminates the usual drill speed penalty when drilling, when mining things underwater. So there you can see the blue tank. So you can tell that the pressurized air tank is installed. Very nice. And now when I go under the water, it drills just fine, with no speed penalty at all. Very, very nice if you're going to be doing a lot of drilling underwater. It's probably the best method of digging underwater tunnels just because of how quick it is with that upgrade. Alright, so there's that. Now we'll go over the augers. I'm going to need to go back into game mode 1 so I can spawn some stuff. By default, our mining drill has 7 attack damage. So if I go ahead and go to the miscellaneous tab and spawn something in, we'll spawn a spider. Spiders are good for testing. Oh, helps if I'm not in peaceful. Spawn a spider. Hit it. That did 4 hearts of damage to the spider. So, left click it twice, spider's dead. Now, if we go in here and we add an auger, boop, our damage will be increased. It won't show up when you look at the steel drill head. Just know that it's adding 1. So instead of 7, we now have an attack speed of 8, attack damage of 8. And you can tell, as you can see it added on. You see that little black bit between the drill head and the actual machine body? So it adds that when you add 1 auger. So before we did 4 hearts of damage to the spider, and now we've done 4.5 hearts of damage to the spider. With 1 auger. So we'll put it back in, and we'll add a second auger. Now, you can't just add an additional auger. The way that you do it is you have to have both of them on the same stack, and then stick it on. So that's 2 augers. So we should have an attack damage of 9. And you can see there's an extra little rotating bit on the top and bottom there. Pretty neat. So before we did 4.5 hearts of damage to the spider, and now we do an even 5 damage to the spider. 5 hearts. So if we go back, take these off, put all 3 on, And this also reminds me of Bioshock 2, because this kind of thing is exactly how the drill updated if you added additional augers. It adds an additional one on the left. You can see the rotating thing. So this is a fully augered up mining drill. Let's spawn a spider. And you can see that it did 5.5 hearts of damage. So it's definitely quite effective if you want to use it as your primary melee weapon. So when you're mining down in the depths, if you're spelunking in a cave, you don't have to put away your you don't have to switch from your mining tool to a weapon. You can just straight up use your mining drills as a weapon. So this is a fully upgraded mining drill minus the large tank. It's got all 3 of the mining drill mods, and so this is what it looks like along with the steel drill head. Very cool. So that's actually it for the mining drill. It's very neat. I quite like it, and it's unfortunate that there's no way to put silk touch on it. This is just copper ore, so it just gives me the copper ore. But actually I had creative mode on there. But it'd be really cool if there was a modification that lets you put silk touch on it. That'd be really, really cool. And I don't think it could be enchanted either. So anyway, that's it for this episode on the mining drill. Stay tuned for future episodes in our Immersive Engineering tutorial series. I'm SentinalH, and I'm signing out.